Welcome to episode number 102 of the Eavesdrop podcast. This episode is brought to you by Upstart and Liquid IV, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a little bit. Marky B is joining me today. I want to give a quick shout out really quickly that later on today at around 10 o'clock, we're going to be releasing a fresh new batch of HECZ merchandise. I am wearing one of them right now, just specifically for this ad. Then I'm going to go change through the magic of, what's going on. But we have a bunch of cool new merch, right? Mostly t-shirts. There is a cool combo right now of some sweat shorts and a sweater that's super ill. Probably like my favorite drop that we've done so far. I want to give a huge shout out to my brother Omens, who's the one that designed every single one of these pieces. He's a fucking genius on the apparel side, and we have something for everyone. I'm also selling the art prints that we talked about a couple of episodes ago. There's only 105 total pieces, and it varies. There's 5 limited super exclusive ones that are hand embellished, and then there's 25 of the bigger offerings, and then there's a smaller one for there's something for everyone. If you guys want to own a piece of my artwork to put on your gaming setup or near your gaming setup, today's the day. I'm also selling 2 of those walls that I have up there that I made. I know there's only 2. Sorry, so good luck to whoever gets it, and congratulations to whoever gets it. Obviously, it's 1-of-1 items each, but there's 2 of them. And I don't often do those, and I don't think that I can just simply make more than 2 at a time. So maybe I'll be able to do that someday. Maybe. We'll see. In the meantime, let me get back to the podcast with man, Marky B. Today we have my honorable guest, Mr. Mark Bryceland, also known as Marky B, the first Scottish person on the podcast.
It's good. It's good to be here.
I thought it was going to be because why does Michael Kent from DeSoto say that he's Scottish?
He lives in Scotland. I'm certain of that, but he's definitely not Scottish. He's from Newcastle, but they're pretty much Scotland at that point. They're pretty up there in the.
So how many countries are there in
the UK?
Yeah,
there's Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So 4 different countries.
Jesus.
Yeah, it gets a bit confusing, and the accents are all pretty similar and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so Newcastle is quite similar to like a kind of Scottish accent because it's getting up there,
If I was to pick an accent, it would probably be yours.
Yeah,
it's just so much better. Like you can actually feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying that the English accent alone is that just doesn't do it for me enough, right? You know what I'm saying? The way you guys do your R's are like very similar to Spanish R's. Marky B, burrito. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you're saying.
It's the same thing. So Mark, I don't want to start it out with the reverse sweep. I don't want to do that. So let's start from your early beginnings. The first time that I ever came across your name and who you were was in Black Ops 2 during a Gfinity event, and you were on TCM and you motherfuckers beat us. Yeah, one of the matches, I think.
That was my very first event as a pro player, actually.
Yeah.
So that was incredible getting to play against you guys, because I think I was on vacation like a couple weeks beforehand. You guys were at MLG Anaheim.
Yeah,
we
were super warmed up. Yeah,
you guys were looking good going into that event. So honestly, I was not expecting to beat you guys, but when we did, obviously it was a great start for me in my career. First event being Optic,
Yeah, as the way that you said came in third struck a nerve with me, and then my brain did something in there that figured out why we were such a third place team, because for the longest time we would place third on every single, even when Merc was on the team, when right before that changeover happened, every single champs event that we went to except for like one, we were always placing third. And I realized that it is because very early on in Optic's history, we all had 3s in our names. Jones became Optic J, but he had a 3 in it. So Jones, Diesel has a 3 in it. Hex had a 3 in it. One and Only had a 3 in it. Preview had a 3 in it. Crew had a 3 in it. Who else? Like a bunch of people had 3s in their names, and that's why we placed third, Matty.
Oh no,
that's the reason.
You need to rewrite history and go back and put some 1s in there.
No, and then, yeah, right. And then what's messed up is that I even came up with like a streetwear side of the business. It was called Third Label, Third, right? And we always used the triangle as the pyramid for the Illuminati, because back then people said that we were the Illuminati. Dude, that was crazy. Anyway, that's what you saying that third. My brain just sparked up. And no, I'm not on that on the Pine Park pack. It is 10 a.m. in the morning. I don't partake until after 5 o'clock. I'm a reasonable, except on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? Or on vacation, which I'm never on. Or when I'm in Texas, obviously it's unavailable here. What's from that first event? Obviously, like we come overseas. Was that the first time that we had been overseas? No, I think we went over this Apex. Were you there for the Apex days?
Yeah, I remember when like the Modern Warfare 3 team joined Apex for a bit on. And I was at those events, but I was coming like top 32 at European events at those times. So those were early days.
Do you remember those days, like when the guys came over? What was that atmosphere like? Because I know that you guys for the longest time there's been this. And it happened in Counter-Strike 2, where North Americans were never going to be as good as the Europeans because they never had the practice that the Europeans had against those teams. The same thing happened to you guys, where your ceiling was only as good as your competition, and until the Americans started to come over, that's when your game elevated. And look at it now. Think about all the English legendary people that have come and gone, and that have been in the scene and have not been in the scene. Like the second that you guys started competing against this level, you guys elevated and ascended to that too.
Yeah, 100%.
So everybody that was always like, and this is something that I brought into Counter-Strike. Everybody was always making fun of North America, and then I said, guys, this same thing happened. I would tell my team, the same thing happened to us in Call of Duty. Like, we used to make fun of Europeans because they're never going to, like, this is going to happen. Like, you guys are going to get the practice that you need, and you're going to elevate. You're going to transcend to the level that you need to. What was the scene growing up for you guys? All right, tell me, where were you born and all that stuff?
Yeah. I was born in Glasgow, Scotland, which is kind of like one of the biggest cities in Scotland. I think when a lot of people think of Scotland, they think of like hills and stuff like that. But honestly, it's just like any
hills.
Hills. Yeah. It's just like any major city, really. And yeah, that's where I grew up. And obviously, coming up from there in Call of Duty, it's been like a bit harder.
What years? Like when were you born?
I was born in 1984, so I'm 26 now.
1994.
Yeah,
I was 14.
Yeah.
What was school like? Like, describe your school.
Yeah, school was interesting. I think that I was the guy in school that was like, he's played the most Call of Duty. I was coming up on Call of Duty 4. I played game battles. I had like 25 days of public matches.
Holy shit.
Not including sort
private
of like
lobbies.
GBs and stuff like that. Yeah. So I put a serious amount of time into COD, and everyone in school let me know about it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm here.
When you said that they let you know about it, what do you mean? They would make fun of you for
Yeah,
playing Call of Duty?
Yeah,
like,
for
nerd.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone did my school at the same time, so it was definitely like a little bit of bragging rights too. I was like the first guy to 10th prestige in my year. I remember that. So I was always
so it was open, right? Like other people that were there also played.
Yeah. So like lunchtimes and stuff, we'd be talking about our GB matches. I played GBs at first with all my friends from school, and a lot of them were actually better than me, and they kind of stopped playing. So that's always a conversation when I meet any of them out at a bar or something. They're like, "Oh, I wish I'd kept playing Call of Duty. I could have became a pro player," sort of thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You
right,
never know.
Because just because they were better than you at that one level doesn't mean that they would have been able to compete or have like the same tenacity that you did growing up. The only reason I asked that is because in high school, like, we didn't have online matches, right? Like in my high school, like in the 90s. So I'm like, I always wonder what that would have been like, because now what ends up happening is that when I go home, like, call it any day of the week, like, I play for my friends that I've been friends with all my life, people that I've been friends with for like 25 years, who have never touched a video game in their life until Fortnite came along, and they sort of started playing it, and then I would try to convince them to play Call of Duty, and they would never do it. They just wouldn't do it. And then Warzone comes along, and I don't know what happened, but they tried it out, and they were like, they just enjoyed it. So now we have like our crew of just me and my friends. I mean, they're not great, right? They're literally awful. You know what I mean? But they're not. You know what I mean? Like, they have their moments and they take it so serious, and I get transported to like the earliest stages of me playing game battles matches, TDM matches, where you're just sitting there looking at one single spot the whole fucking match, and how nerve-wracking it was. So I see that in them, and they're just like surviving, right? Like, they're playing the game, but they're mostly like surviving. They're not hunting. They're not, going. They're just surviving. And then once they get into fights, they get into fights and all that. So
that's the same as me whenever I'm playing with some of my in real life friends from home. Like, you have to kind of almost reel yourself in, because you'll be playing with another group of people and you're just running at different teams, you know what I mean? And then you've got to slow yourself down because you're trying to keep them at your pace, and they're like, no, what's going on? I want to camp in this building.
Yeah. It's like, mark it. How do I mark it? How do I mark it? It's like, call it out. What do I call out? Like like those sort of things. So I try to tell them, like, all right, if you see this, if you're in a fight, like, call it out first and then shoot, and that sort of thing. But That was the only reason I was asking about, the community in your school and all of that. So what do your school look like? What does a typical school look like in
I would say it's pretty similar to over here. The way the school system works in the UK is, in Scotland's a little different to even in England. So you would go to, it's called primary school. So that would be like from when you were 4 till 11.
Yeah.
And then you go to high school. There's no middle school or anything like that. And then you're in high school for 6 years.
Oh, 6 years. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So and then you would go to university and stuff. So I was in school until the 6th year at high school, and then that's when I was 18 and I got offered to become a pro player, and I just kind of left school.
Yeah.
So I didn't finish school properly. So
so you didn't high school?
No, I didn't even finish high school.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, so the way it works is you don't have like I said, it's like 6 years of high school, so you don't have to do the 6th year. The 6th year is like a that's where you do like your higher level of courses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I still done exams and stuff like that at the 5th year, but 6th year was when I got offered to become a pro player, and I decided to take a plunge.
Yeah. So here is you have kindergarten, then you have you have school, then you have middle school, then you have high school, right, Matt? Right. In Mexico, it's the same thing. So we have primary school, primaria, primary school, which is from kindergarten to 6th grade, and then you go to preparation school, preparatoria, which is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and then you go to college, essentially, is what it goes. So there's only 3. From what I remember, I might be wrong. I came to the United States 8th grade, and then from 8th grade, that was middle school, then I went to high school. So that was like the question that I had, because you guys obviously take, education for you guys has to be like way different, obviously, just from a historical standpoint, but from a grading standpoint, do you guys do A's, B's, or do you guys do like 5 through 10?
We do in England. They do like one. They use numbers, but we would do A's, B's, C's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we use numbers too. So a 10 is a good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would get 5s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I got some B's.
Yeah, did you? for just for the name?
Oh yeah, exactly. They chucked a bunch of B's on there.
Yeah. So what? How old were you when you got recruited to what was it? Dignitas, I think, was the first. Your first team?
Yeah. First pro team was Dignitas. That was literally when I just turned 18. And I was only in there for like a month actually.
Yeah. Shout out Odie.
Yeah, shout out Odie. Never even got the hoodie, which at those times everyone wanted a Dignitas hoodie because they were pretty nice looking. But yeah, only in there for like a month until we didn't qualify for the College A Championship, because in those days it was like, do you remember where they used to do only like one UK team, like one Spanish team, one French team, stuff like that? So there was obviously
which was so dumb.
Yeah, a lot of the good European teams at that point were the UK based teams.
Yeah.
And I was unfortunately not the team that qualified, because the team that qualified that year was Farico, I believe. From yeah.
Oh, with the bald guy, right?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Brain something.
Brain.
Was it Brain?
Something Brain, right?
Brainiac.
Yeah, shout out Brainiac.
Yeah,
Long time no see, Brainiac. Where you at?
Yeah, where
you okay, so you didn't qualify, and then what happens?
Continued to just chip away at it, and then eventually TCM just gave me an opportunity. I was playing really well online. I beat TCM in like a bunch of like online matches and stuff, so it was just kind of inevitable that they would give me an opportunity. And it's actually funny because the guy who gave me an opportunity is now the assistant coach and analyst for my team now, so kind of went full circle really. But yeah, that was like the first opportunity at TCM. Then my first event was a couple weeks later at that Gfinity event like we spoke about at the start, and going my first match, I think I might have played Envy in one of my very first matches as
Envy?
well. Yeah, that very first event, we beat you guys in the semi-finals. We beat Envy, and then we also beat Farico right as well. So my first event, beat the world champions, beating the team that came second at the world championship, and then beat you guys. It was like, the only team we didn't beat was Complexity in the final, which was obviously would have been pretty good if we'd beat Complexity in the final, my first pro event.
Yeah, you guys would have been the dynasty.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I would have been a goat at that point,
Yeah. All right, so when was the first time that you came to the United States to compete? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember actually. It was at MLG Columbus on Ghost, the very first event. We got 1v3'd by Study. 5-5. That's all I remember from that event.
What, Ghosts?
Yeah, Ghosts, very first event. I think we lost to Complexity again. So at this point, I'm already 0-2 against Complexity. So my record against them isn't looking so hot. And then we played against, do you remember, like, I think they were called Justice. It was like Chino,
Justice, yeah.
Study, Tipsy, and Gucci. We lost to them, and we got 1v3'd by Study to go 5-5, and then we lost 5-5.
Yeah. What was the guy? What was the Justice guy's name? There's like, Youch, damn it. You remember?
I don't know.
Dude, black dude.
Tipsy.
No. That's a young dude, the owner. Yeah,
the owner. Oh,
that's my dude
is it
too.
Rick? Is his name Rick?
Nah.
No?
Rick? Oh, it might have been Rick.
Is that his name?
I don't know. That was my guy though, man. We got along famously. All right, so what was the culture shock like? Was that the first time you visited the United States?
So Columbus was not what I expected the very first time to come to the United States.
Nothing is.
Because not only that, it was
like England.
Yeah. Not only that, I think it was when the college was out, so there was literally just no one on the streets. Like it was in the middle of winter.
Yeah,
we were walking about like, where is everyone? Because I think we were like in downtown Columbus as well. There was not much going on, and it was pretty cold. It was like freezing cold, and I was just like, nah. This isn't what I imagined, but like Texas is kind of a bit more, I guess, like what you'd expect of America.
Was it you? I think it was you. Okay, was there a team owner that fucked you guys?
Yes, and you paid for my travel.
That was me. That was you.
Yeah,
right?
Correct.
It was so early on that I'm like, I never, like right now when you were talking about Columbus, I'm like, holy shit, it may have been you.
It wasn't that event though.
No. So what happened there?
Yeah, so it was AW, the very first event. I think we were under an org called Basic. They're no longer a thing anymore, thankfully. But basically what happened was, no pun intended, we were, the day before the event, we're told we had our flights booked. I think a couple of our players actually did. Mm-hmm. And then last minute it was like, oh, we're not going. 2 of my teammates were already on the way there. And I just threw out a tweet like, oh no, we're not going to the event. 2 of my teammates are already on the way to the US. And then you DM me.
Yeah.
Like,
dude,
hey,
I just brought it up.
You brought it up. You were like, hey, let me know. And you booked it straight away. And honestly, like, can't really thank you enough for that. We didn't do too hot at the event, which I kind of felt bad because I was like, HECZ paid for us to come to this event and we got top 16 or something like that, top 24 maybe. I don't even know if it was as good as top 16, but it was AW and it was myself. Do you remember Excellence? Excellency?
Yeah.
Nick Ward?
Yep.
Me, him, Rated, and who was our fourth? Reedy. So it was a bit of a weird squad. It wasn't even my team at that point, but we were traveling to the US to go to that event. I think Reedy and Rated were already on their way there. Me and Excellence were stuck, and you helped us out, so thanks again for that. Yeah,
dude, I swear to God, I didn't bring it up for any other reason, but I like something sparked. My brain is like digging deep back there for some reason. So the December 30th, 2014 at 5:54 p.m., I said, what is the flight? And then you're like, it's myself and Excellency's flights from Glasgow to Orlando tomorrow at 9:35. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, and then you said, your money has been sent, bud. Should be there in the account in the next couple of days. The dude obviously never sent.
Oh yeah, he never sent the money back.
Yeah,
he kept telling me like
he did.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I've sent the money to HECZ. I've sent the money to HECZ. I'm like, oh, nice, cheers,
dude. I forgot about that. And then he says, does Basic owe you? Because they haven't paid me. And because I thought that I don't know how it happened, but then you.
I paid for the hotel when I got there. Yeah, so they owed me money as well. I paid for the hotel when I got there because they told me they would pay for it back. So I was like, oh, I'll chuck out my card. That's fine.
Yeah. And then the dude, you say like, yeah, I had to pay for the hotel, so they haven't paid me back. It's a joke. I've been told numerous times that I've been paid. The money hasn't arrived. I'd like to apologize, mate, for having you pay for it. I'm like, not your fault. And he promised to have all that paid. Dude, that's crazy that my brain just said, yo, go in there. Holy shit. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude's not around anymore, right?
Nah, hopefully not. To be fair, I think a lot of the sort of bad organizations and bad people have been sort of weeded out over the years, you know?
Yeah. What I remember though, as I'm talking about it, I remember the dude being like a young dude.
Yeah.
Like a very young dude. So like I wasn't as mad at him because you got to try, right? And maybe he had something in the works that would have worked out. And I remember not being too harsh on him when I told him how things should be done and how things should not be done. But I do remember I'm like, oh, you know what? He tried. He tried it. He didn't work, and obviously, like I felt bad for the players. So we were doing well back in 2014. We were like, oh yeah, we were doing really well back then. So I'm like, let's help out the community a little bit. Let's bring my boy Bryceland and Excellency, man. Long time no hear from that dude. That was cool. So
he's like the Scottish goat for me. He's like the guy that
he's your godfather.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously, growing up in Scotland, he was getting second place at COD XP and stuff like that, so I looked up to him heavily. Coming from Scotland, he was like the only guy that was really doing it at the international level at that point.
Yeah. and then he quit Call of Duty to do Twilight movies. Right?
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson looked alike.
Right? He's a handsome guy, isn't he?
Yeah. What was the other guy's name? The guy with the weird hair. He had hair, and then there was a team that you played for. It was red, white, and blue.
Infused.
Infused. Yeah. What was the CEO's name? The young dude with the hair.
Acid.
Yeah.
Ollie Sellers.
Yeah. Whatever happened to him?
I actually don't know. It's one of those things. I feel like everyone's just kind of disappeared off the scene for a while over the years. As some people have just decided to go their separate ways. I'm not entirely sure what happened with him, but he was always a good time.
It was always a good time, indeed. When he walked in, everybody who's listening, when Marky B walked in, I was on my laptop removing people from my Expedia account, right? Because I haven't used it in a long time, and I was just looking through it, and then a name came up, Callum Wilson Swan, and I'm like, Swanee. Did you say you were just talking to him? How's he doing?
Yeah, he's good. I've talked to him on Discord. Like, we've got like a kind of European Discord going on, and we're always in there, just chatting shit. You know how it is. But he's doing well.
Where's he at now?
He's just doing his thing at home, kind of grinding a lot of Warzone. I'm not entirely sure why he's not streaming.
Yeah,
you need to DM him and tell him to get streaming.
Yeah, dude.
I swear to God, he puts in so much time, and I just wish he was streaming.
So do I. The man with the golden voice.
Yeah,
fucking good looking too. What Swanee? God damn it! Give me a call, man. If you ever come to the United States, you know you got to be on the podcast. So know that. I haven't heard from him in like fucking years, and I thought we were friends.
He's a guy that keeps to himself, isn't he?
But of course, he's a gentleman.
Yeah, exactly. He's just grinding chess, playing Warzone at the same time. That's kind of what he's doing. But he's obviously nice to talk to. He's always given me great advice as well on like the coaching side of things, because he's really into like sports psychology and all these different things. So I think that there's definitely a lot of sort of good advice he's given me over the years. I'd say from a coaching perspective as well as like as a player too.
Yeah, he played for Optic. I think he was like the first English player. No, he was definitely not the first English player for Optic, because we had Optic EU, which Matadors, who's from England, was a part of, and then Gotaga was also a part of Optic, like early Call of Duty 4, and then. You know, in retrospect, like there was no way of predicting this thing, but I should have been able to see. I should have the most common sense thing that I should have like. Looking back in those days, like I feel like a dummy, because Wheelie Rex, who's a really good friend, I mean, obviously we don't talk as much as we used to, but like at one point he could have been in Optic. Like Gotaga was in Optic, and it would have been so easy for me to be like, yo, you know, Optic France, you lead it, you manage it, you do this, and then just like blowing up, and there's so many missed opportunities when you start out that early in any scene that you don't really see like all the opportunities that are gonna come down the line in the future. So it's just one of those things. I was just thinking about what was it? The Hilton Anatole here down the street, which is where the first time that we ever went to an event. It was Merc, Flawless, Vengeance, and Nate Shot. We came in 4th place. It was the first time I ever went to an MLG event. There was no audience for Call of Duty, and I just posted a picture from that event last night on my Instagram, and I thought about it. I'm like, it's insane that was my first event ever. Didn't know anything about esports. Didn't know anything about anything, and I'm there, and now I live 25 minutes from that place that, you know, sort of was like my jump start into competitive Call of Duty. And then somebody asked me, was like, what would you go and tell yourself for that event? And immediately in my head, I'm like, I would have said yes to Cloud9. At that time, Cloud9 wasn't owned by Jack Etienne, which is, you know, the Cloud9 organization. Now, Cloud9 was just like a standalone group led by High, and they ended up winning like some amateur bracket stuff. And I would have figured it out if I would have said yes, but the amount of money that I would have needed in order to make that happen, like, scared me, right? Like, I understood my economics, and it scared me because I'm like, man, these dudes are like legit, and they're like, yeah, but Riot gives you money or a stipend for our homes and this, that, and the other, and I should have just said yes. I would have had Cloud9. I would have had Optic Cloud9. Holy shit, think about that.
Well, at the end of the day, like, opportunities come and go. I'm sure you've made some great decisions along the way to get to here.
yeah, I did. I just, you know, I think that's just greed and ego talking, right? Like, God damn it, I should
have had everything.
Yeah, I could have just been it, right? You know what I'm saying?
The only guy.
Yeah, I also, going back in retrospect, the first time I met Duncan Ironmonger, founder, CEO of Scuf, at that bar in 2011 Champs, when he showed me the first ever silver Scuf, I would have been like, yeah, we'll do a partnership with you, but you got to give me equity in the company.
I remember when Scufs first came out, and it was just like an absolute game changer. And that was around that time, 2011.
Yeah.
I remember the first people that had them at events were like, "Oh, these guys are cheating. These guys are cheating almost like." And I was like, "I need to get one." And it was like hard. From what I remember, it was pretty hard to get them at that point. You had to know them, you know.
Yeah. You couldn't get them simply because the production capabilities of those, like, they're being handmade.
Yeah.
At some point, so you can imagine, like, it's a you open it and there's like a tiny little motherboard, for a lack of a better word, because I don't understand, the way that it operates, but they were being handmade, so only limited amount of people were having them. And I remember we were at the bar. It was me, Fwiz, and there's a legendary picture out there right now that even Michael Kent was in. Mike Kent from Deserta was in. And I don't ever remember talking to him back then. Now we're fucking like good friends. I consider him like an excellent. All three of those dudes, Josh, Chris Marsh, and I don't know why, but I just love hanging out with them. That's like one of my favorite people. But there's like what's his name? White Boy 7th Street's in there, FPS Russia's in there, like all of these, like Muzzle Fuzzle, like all these major YouTubers were all there in this one picture. But that one night, the first time that I learned about Scuf and met Duncan, like he came to the bar and he's like, guys, let me buy you guys all a shot. And we're like, oh, hell yeah. So Fwiz is there. He's like, yo, just get the bottle, man. Just buy the bottle, man. And he's like, all right, yeah. So he goes, he's like, can we buy the bottle? He's like, no. And then he's like, all right, well, then pour the whole bottle into shots and we'll figure it out afterwards. That bottle must have been like fucking $1,200. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure I'm sure Duncan was successful by then, but as you know, it's a new business to go in there and drop $1,200 and not even get optic.
Yeah,
for a while, for like 2 years.
In those days, Duncan was, I think he was still successful at that point.
Yeah.
He walked about kind of, he had the aura about him. You knew he was going to do well.
Yeah.
You knew he was doing well for himself anyway.
Yeah. So, tell me about your Call of Duty like story, man. Like obviously, like you've been around from the beginning of time. Obviously, since 2014. I consider you an OG. Is not competing anymore and coaching now. Like, what's that like?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a little different. I think I would consider it a lot more stressful now. I don't know from your perspective. I think it's actually a lot more stressful watching the game than it is competing, because in that moment when you're competing, you're just kind of zoned in, focused on what's going on, focused on the next moment in game. And when I'm watching, I'm just not worried, but like just focused on every little minute detail of the game that happens, and I think it increases the stress levels for sure.
We've lost a lot, so it's I'm good. I don't stress out as much as before. This weekend I was very stressed. I was super stressed out, and it was mostly because of the crowd reaction and how much love we got when we got on stage. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, we got to win this one. We got to win. And we haven't won under optics since I got it back. Last one was in Las Vegas 2018. That's sitting right there. That last championship that Optic has ever gotten. So for me, like I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. Right?
I remember that one well because I was coaching Splice at that event.
Oh,
so that was the big comeback.
Yeah,
where Krim was frying us on the last hill.
Yeah.
Good times. That was my first event coaching, because at that point, that's when I just transitioned from it being a European-based team to having the North American team. And that's when we kind of became an actual contender, because our World War II team before that got like top 24 at champs. So like we obviously went big at that point, invested in a sort of American-based team. Still had Jerd on the team, so we had one European guy. And then obviously we got third that event, which was a bit disappointing in the end, but.
What's Jerd up to these days?
He's been competing in challengers actually.
Yeah, one of my favorite players ever.
Yeah. He on Black Ops 2, he was honestly one of the most individually talented players I've ever seen.
Explosive.
Some of the most crazy clips I've ever seen. Just even in like 8s and stuff like that I remember playing with him. I could honestly talk for days about Jerd. But moving on from Jerd, I think that just looking at that event, that Splice event, we came in obviously. Done well against you guys at the start, choked that map, and then went into that game 5 and then crumbled, and then you guys went on to win it. But it was an incredible event. Vegas, I hope we go back to Vegas for an event.
Yeah,
I hope we go back to Vegas for an event.
My thought is this, right? Vegas is so when I first stepped into the league, I wanted the Las Vegas spot.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. I'm like, he's like, they're like, because I waited until I was the 12th team inducted into the league. And I waited, right? I waited, and I waited until the end. And then when everybody was done, I was talking to one of the guys over at Activision, and I said, he's like, all right. I'm like, all right, we're ready to go. You know, this was going to happen. He's like, what city do you want? And I said, Las Vegas. And they're like, you can't have that one. It's like, we're doing that for like I don't know what the reason it was. I do know the reason, but I don't think I'm supposed to say it, so I'm not gonna say it. And I'm like, I want Las Vegas, and they're like, sorry, we can't do that. So what other one do you want? I want Dallas. He's like, there's already Empire there, and I was like, all right, well, I want Frisco, Texas then. Anyway, so I went down the line, and then I'm like, all right, I knew I was gonna get Chicago, but I wanted to push the envelope, as I always do. So we ended up there, but I wanted Las Vegas. Where I was going with that is that I think that Las Vegas is like the perfect, not the perfect necessarily, but I think it's one of the best ones where you can hold an event because of the amount of stuff that there is to do, right? And it's not like these players or you guys or players in general just wild out, right? Like they're there to do a job, and they do a really good job at having the discipline of not doing that and wait until the last day to sort of blow off the steam, unless you lose early and then you can blow off steam immediately. Yeah. But I do think that Las Vegas, being the entertainment epicenter that it is, I think that it lends itself well just for every sport, every competition sport. It's out there. So I don't know. I do think, in my opinion, I don't think that we should have homestands the way that we growing your home market is important, of course, but I do think that having like a traveling circus, like where, for example, we have the Empire has the Dallas thing, we have our Chicago thing, you guys have your Toronto thing, but all of the in-betweens, all of the majors should be in Vegas. Every single major should be in Vegas. Everybody knows that they go to Vegas. It is a partnership that we have with the city of Las Vegas. It is something that just is always there. That way we know that we have that, and every single time that we're there, there's a bunch of stuff that we can that we get to do. It makes it easier for parents also to bring their kids or their whoever that wants to spectate because they can drop them off at the event, right? And the parents can go and have fun.
Yeah.
Go enjoy Vegas for what Vegas is.
It's like UFC style basically, because UFC they host events all over the world really, but then their major events are going to be in Vegas. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's a perfect place for major events because at the end of the day, you've got so much to do outside of the competition and outside of the main attraction, the CDL.
I would like to have an event in Dubai. I think having an event in Dubai would be like super, super cool. Let me say hello to sponsors really quickly, and we'll talk about Dubai a little bit. This week's sponsor is none other than Upstart. And you guys have heard me talk about Upstart for a very, very long time. We've obviously discussed it a bunch of times here. They are essentially an ability for you to help your current financial situation. Let me tell you a little bit about them right now. Because if you are carrying a credit card balance month after month, if it can feel like you're in a never-ending cycle, right, in a twister of never-ending cycle of debt, Upstart can help you make that final payment so you can get ahead. How does this work, right? Upstart is a fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personalized loan all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment. Upstart knows that you're more than just your credit score and is expanding access to affordable credit, right? Because most credit companies, what they'll do is they'll look at how much you're making on a monthly basis, how many already existing expenses you are, and they don't really look at your situation. For somebody like me, it'd be almost impossible because I don't necessarily have a traditional job, right? I make all of my money through the stuff that I do. I'm self-employed. So they look at just more than that, right? They look at more than your credit score. They look at what you're able to do today and how you can help yourself get ahead. And this is one of them. Unlike other lenders, Upstart considers your income and current employment to find you a smarter rate for your current loan. What that means is essentially, look, traditional credit companies sort of put you in a box and you can never get out of the box for at least 7 years, right? If you do certain things, and you're bound by your credit score. Well, Upstart is non-traditional. They look at more than just your credit score. They see how much money you make, how much money you spend, and they'll be able to make the decision since then. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate up front for your loans between $1,000 to $50,000, and you can receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. And right now, you can find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/eavesdrop. That is upstart.com/EAVESDROP. That's upstart.com/eavesdrop. Don't forget that we have a URL listed down in the description down below for you to click and make it that much easier, right? One thing is that loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/eavesdrop. That is upstart.com/EAVESDROP to find out how Upstart can help you lower your monthly payments. Go check that out now. Get ahead. Get way, way ahead. Our next sponsor is Liquid IV. Let me tell you something about Liquid IV, okay? It helps. It helps so much because all you need is this tiny little bit of water and also one of the packages that it comes in, and it helps you hydrate way quicker, right? And it's not just for hangovers, which is mostly when I use it, right? It's more than just that. Like most of the time when you drink water, you're not necessarily getting all the nutrients that you need in one single day. So, you know, obviously here in Texas, right? The hot summer months are here, and we need to be proactive to keep our body fueled up and hydrated. Making hydration a priority helps us feel healthier on a day-to-day basis, and it fuels us to be at our highest potential, right? One stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates faster and more efficiently than water alone. Not only that, but products taste great with flavors like watermelon, strawberry, lemon, lime. Sounds like summer, doesn't it? Sure as heck does. Like I said, you know, I use it to hydrate almost on a regular basis. I'm not gonna lie and say that I use it every single day, but when I need it and when I do feel like there's something that I need more, like a more of a pick me up, that's when I use it, right? Great taste and functional products makes you feel great. They've actually donated like over 11 million sticks to people around the world. Lemon, lime, acai, berry, passion fruit, guava, watermelon. Like the amount of assortment of flavors that they have is super, super good, right? It contains 5 essential vitamins, more vitamin C than orange juice. More vitamin C than an orange, and as much potassium as a banana. Healthier than sugary sports drink, no artificial flavors or preservatives, and less sugar than an apple. Made with clean ingredients, non-GMO, vegan, and free of gluten, dairy, and soy. Right? The optimal ratio of glucose, sodium, and potassium delivers water and nutrients into the bloodstream. It is perfect balance to help you hydrate more quickly and more effectively than water alone. The company's donated over 4 million servings in response to COVID-19. Products are being donated to hospitals, first responders, food banks, veterans, and active military. Liquid IV has donated over 11 million servings globally. Think about that. That is a lot. They're doing a lot of good. So please be sure that, to know that when you buy some Liquid IV, you're also helping a bunch of people. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code H3CZ, that's HECZ, at checkout. That's 25% off of anything you order when you get better hydration today using promo code H3CZ at liquidiv.com. I'm going to give it to you one more time. liquidiv.com and use code HECZ at checkout. That's H3CZ to get your 25% off of your first order. So check them out. All of the links will be in the description down below. So thank you again to Liquid IV, and thank you again to Upstart for sponsoring the podcast. Back to Marky B. So again, a huge shout out to Upstart and Liquid IV for sponsoring the podcast. Where I was going with the Dubai thing is like, it's such an incredible city. Like I would like, and I obviously like somebody like Seth, like hates traveling. He just doesn't like to get on planes. He just for Champs, Paige, who works here, suggested that we should get a private jet and then fly that way. Seth said, "Fuck no private jet." Everybody said, "What?" Everybody got so mad. Everyone got mad. It's like, what do you mean? Like, we get to go on a private jet. It's just us. It's easy. Like, we get to put all our like, it was like the most seamless thing. And he's like, "Nope." And I was like, "Cool, shit, save some money." but he's that dude, right? So I know that we would not be able to go to like Dubai unless he flew in one of those Casey Neistat, like you know what I mean, like $25,000 pod. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, you can afford it. He's like, yeah, but I'm going there for work, so you should pay for it. I'm like, yeah, but I can pay for the flight. You want the upgrade? You should pay for your own upgrade. And I'm obviously going to upgrade. I'm not going to,
Yeah, you got to get the bed.
Look, if Casey Neistat did it, I got to do my own video about it, right? Like it's that. But I do think having a Dubai event would be super dope. And look, they have paper down there, right? Like they're mega wealthy. So if anybody from Dubai who watches this, you're obviously rich, mega rich. If you're not mega rich, then you know somebody very close to you that's mega rich. Tell them to put on an event. Tell us to get us some good flights out there, and we'll go do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll definitely go do it. When we got the sponsorship, we got a sponsorship once for Australia. Instead of paying anything with that money that we got from there, I just bought everybody first class seats. So we flew to fucking Australia in first class seats. Pamaj also was with us, and on the way back, I think that we all flew. Oh no, we flew first class also. But like, I didn't use that money for anything besides that. So the money that we got, we're like, they're just spending on flights and comfortability. I do want to go back to Australia. Where would you like to go? Like, if
Australia for me too. I've been to Australia when I was 8. I've got a bunch of family over there actually. So like my grandparents lived there. So it's somewhere that's definitely close to home.
Wait, what part?
My family from Brisbane, Australia. So it's kind of near. I think it's pretty near Melbourne, at least from what I know, which is where you went, obviously. But the travel is definitely one of the things that puts you off, because I feel like when you go to Australia, you almost have to go for a longer period of time. Otherwise, it feels like, oh, you're traveling for like several days to get there. So it feels like you need to stay there for a prolonged period of time. So just finding that amount of time to go there is the most difficult thing. But definitely when I'm done with like competing or coaching or whatever, I think that it's going to be somewhere I want to go for like a good couple months and just go see family, travel around the whole of Australia. But honestly, me and my fiance have like a massive list of places that we want to travel to. But that's definitely on there. And Japan
would be a dope one.
Japan.
And they do have like a large Call of Duty community there too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they do.
100%. I think that just all of like Southeast Asia as well. Like I would like to experience a bunch of places over there.
Singapore would be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, I've been to Singapore before, but only the airport, unfortunately. But I just remember it being extremely humid. I remember being outside the airport for like 2 seconds and being like, "Get me back inside."
Yeah.
Apart from that, like South America. As well.
I remember. Krim went to do like some zombie. What was it? It was like a zombie commercial for BenQ, I think it was. And he went by himself, and I was gonna go with him just because I don't like to let my players travel alone, especially like overseas or like that. It's like my responsibility. But I'm like, there's zero chance that I'm fucking going with you on this one, brother. So anyway, he went, made a vlog, and it was kind of nuts. But I do hope that one day we get to travel abroad. Like I haven't been back to England since like the last esports awards. And where before we used to go once a year, and that was like one of my favorite things to do because I love like downtown London. I love walking around. Like I didn't take Ubers or cabs anywhere. Like I most of the time I would walk from the what was it, Piccadilly, the Hippodrome? No, the Hippodrome. Yeah, the Hippodrome to somewhere else. And I would just love it. And I want to go back. Like, oh no, wait, we were just fucking there as huntsmen. We were just there.
Oh yeah.
What
London
the fuck
event last year.
You were there last.
I was
haven't been there 3 years. What the fuck? Holy shit! I even went to go see my Hammers play with my man Bazinga. That was pretty cool. Says I want to go back to London. That's what I'm trying to say. God damn it! I want to go back. I want to experience it. I want to see my people out there, man. Like it's good. Where else would be a good one? Germany. I've never been to Germany. I think Germany would be a good one to have. There's a massive Call of Duty community there.
Yeah, 100%. Germany's a lovely place. I've been to Berlin. I've been to Frankfurt and Cologne as well. Cologne's where they used to have those. What were they called? Not GameStop.
Gamescom. Yeah.
Gamescom. Yeah.
Gamescom. Yeah.
So we had the Advanced Warfare reveal there. And I mean, I just remember it being a big party. From what I remember, we played a little bit of Advanced Warfare, and then there was a lot of partying going on. But it was a great place.
Yeah, man. I wish. And that's what I liked about being in Counter-Strike back then, was the fact that there were like those sort of events. I didn't get to go to Poland, which I would have loved to have gone to. Unfortunately, wasn't able to do that because of conflicting. And we were talking about this on the last podcast. When you're a team owner and you have more than one esports team, you run into the time where more than one team are going to be playing in, and you have to pick and choose which one to go to. Mexico City, I want to go back there. I think that would be a really, really good one. We only went there for Gears of War, but again, there's a massive Call of Duty community. And at one point, I believe, and I'm not sure about this. This was a rumor because somebody asked me, say, "Hey, are you involved in that Mexico team?" And I was like, "No." And at the time, I was like looking for a partner, and I'm like, "No," but I fucking better be. It ended up not being a thing. But I think that's like from expansion standpoint, because of COVID and all that, like I don't know when that thing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, and it's it sucks because it sucks and it doesn't suck, right? Because if we had more teams, then more of the old school Call of Duty players, pros that will still be here, and we wouldn't see people like Standy, we wouldn't see people like Diamond Con, Awakening. Like, think about how many fucking rookies have come on and have made an impact on the league, which goes to show that the day will come that when this becomes a truly global competition sport, the competition is going to be like insane, and it's just going to be tougher and tougher for people. Like North America won't even matter at that point. If you have a good brand on you, then you might be safe. But aside from that, if somebody from India, for example, is fucking incredible, I'm picking that up. That's an entire country of billions of people. They're going to be heralding something good.
There's definitely a bunch of untapped like talent out there. I think it's always been one of those things where like communication's always been such a key factor, so that's kind of harder to like build these teams around, like, when they've got a player that doesn't speak English. But I do think one day you're going to get to that point where there's a bunch of mixed teams and stuff like that. But I think it's incredibly key if you are one of these guys that are in one of these positions, especially right now with the way the Call of Duty sort of scene works, and you need to sort of speak English at this point, really, or like at least to a kind of a decent standard so you can communicate in game. I mean, look at Hydra. He's up there, and he's like a guy that's struggles with speaking English, but he's been learning as times went on, and it's got him to this point now.
What about Kleenex? Where's he from?
He's from Denmark, but
he speaks English though, right?
Yeah, and I think in Denmark they're like very big on pushing them to learn English. Yeah. So he speaks like fluent English, so that's no issue for us in terms of like going really in depth into things. Last year we had Metals and Lucky, who were both from Spain. They both spoke great English too. I'd say like not to the same standard.
Yeah. You're good.
Not to the same standard as Kleenex, but it definitely makes things harder to like go really, really in depth into those little like sort of championship defining plays and stuff like that. So
it's weird. Like I see and obviously like I understand Call of Duty and I understand the internet, a lot better than obviously some of the. Never mind, I won't go there. But I think that, for example, like the fact that Hydra isn't on Paris, it's like such a missed opportunity in my opinion, because like that is the Parisian that could have attracted the rest of them, right? Think about the amount of content that he could have been doing in English. Think about the amount of, I think that a lot of the stuff that's happening right now, like I sort of feel bad for both the London Royal Ravens and for them, because they're so separated, right, from what's actually happening here, that I don't know. I think that it would have made more sense that the way that Vegas wasn't available, that those cities shouldn't have been available until they were Call of Duty was ready to expand into that. And I think that the expansion plans should have been 12 teams here in North America, including Mexico. And then we would have like an additional 12 in over there, right? Europeans, right? Russia. I mean, think about like Russia is fucking big on Call of Duty too, dude. Obviously Poland, right? Like they had what was the Virtus Pro, right? Like that organization would fucking, I'm sure, love to hop into another shooter, right? Especially an advanced one, a more modern one that can compete. So you have all these countries out there in Europe that would definitely commit to a program like Call of Duty. It's a massive brand. Like they know the audience is there. Like we see the data all the time. But competition wise, practice wise, you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's the struggle with Paris and London right now. Like they just physically cannot be in their home country, because imagine that they would just be scrimming against each other every day, or scrimming against like European AM teams. So it would just not be ideal. I think that I agree. To be honest, I think that. Especially with right now the way it is, I mean obviously they couldn't foresee COVID really, but without a lot of travelling going on and stuff like that, I think it's completely impossible. So I do agree that I think it would have been better if they started off like 12 North American, or just that's,
and then the two champions play each other for the World Cup, right?
Oh yeah. You could have like eventually you could go down the line where they expand, they make a European league, and then you, like you said, it's kind of like the way League of Legends works, where you have the top 3 teams maybe from each region go to like the major, and then they compete against each other on like the international stage, and then you actually have more interest in that too, because they've not been competing against each other the entire like through a couple month period, you know. So I think that would make things more interesting as well.
Yeah, I do think that there has to be like a very smart approach to the way that they do it in Europe. You have massive personalities out there, right? Like I mentioned Willie Rex, obviously El Rubius, Alex B, like all these Spanish, like massive personalities should be a part of the own, like what was it, Tim Heretics, right? That sort of team works because they have like a massive popular person at the helm that should get backed by whatever sports team is out there, and then now you have your esports team. But you can't just go out there and just get a team without having like a popular personality, because I wouldn't want Call of Duty in Europe to not have the viewership that would merit something that they're passionate about or excited about. So you have in Spain, Skyros in fucking Gotaga, and you know what I'm saying? Like these French people that are massive and have massive audiences have to be part of these expansion plans. Otherwise, it's not going to make any sense, in my opinion. London, for example, like that, I think Amish and Dave did excellent in an excellent move in picking up Vicstar and giving them, I think, a little bit of ownership in that, because, you know, obviously, like Sidemen, right? Like they are a national treasure. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about how they're like A-list celebrities, like every single one from top to bottom. They get 10 million views a single fucking video. Like no one has killed it the way that they've killed it from the beginning of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that from they have to be very, very aware of how they're going to do the expansions in Europe, if that's the way that they want to go. But I do think that there is a very good chance that they will be able to do like right by the league and right by their city. You know what I mean?
I hope that when they bring a Spanish franchise, and I just think, or even just any franchise, I think that they need to make sure that, like you said, they've got the right people on board at the top, but also like I think the initial signings they make in terms of like building their franchise around a local base player is massively important to drive in that those extra fans, you know.
I'm okay with them bringing over an American.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Just one. The majority of your team should be like, you know, that. In North America, it doesn't really matter, right? Because, you know, Canadians, you know, for the most part speak English, unless you're French Canadian, and obviously it's different. But like in Mexico, obviously that's Spanish. So the people that are going to be coming in from there, like they need to speak English, obviously, just from an interview standpoint, making it easier. Bring a translator, which I think that's what Hydra has, right? He's got
I'm not entirely sure, to be fair.
How you like in Toronto?
I love Toronto. Yeah, it's
good city, right?
Yeah, it's a really nice city. I think that like I like living in places where you can just walk around and like do it, like go get coffee, like all those sort of little things, because
it's like Frisco, Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Frisco, exactly. But yeah, I love it. It's apart from the weather. To be honest, the weather is a bit off-putting. But apart from that, like it's just freezing cold the majority of the year. And then you get to like May to September. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You just want it to be May to September all year round.
All year round.
Yeah, because it's a great vibe in the summer. Like all the parks and stuff like that are popping, and it's just everyone's just kind of in a more positive mood. Everyone's quite busy, and it's quite motivating for me in a way, because like I used to sit there most nights just out on my balcony, just looking out and just seeing everyone like hustle and bustle. It kind of like motivated me to work harder. You know what I mean? Whereas I come from a kind of smaller town in Scotland where there's not that much going on at late at night and stuff like that. So I think for me it's great. I love living there.
Yeah, good. You guys have some big plans coming out. I've seen some of the building, the stadium that they're putting together. Like that's exciting. Like I can't wait for the league to be, I don't know, 2 to 3 years in, right? Call it 2024, 2025, where everything's like all different, everything's settled. Obviously, the first 3 years are always going to be building blocks. It doesn't help the fact that we had COVID. Obviously, that set us back a bunch. Yeah. But I do think that we would have had a tough time building this thing anyway, just because it's what it is. Obviously, the lack of and I want to be very careful when I say that. When I say lack of support in my next sentence, I don't mean it from a league standpoint. I mean it from the top of the food chain. Because at the end of the day, you know, we are all just, you know, sort of sitting here waiting for the men upstairs to you know, say yes or no to certain things. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I do think that once we start to get a more transparent look into the reasons as to why we don't have league play at launch, or why we, you know, don't have major 5 skins or major 4 skins, you know what I'm saying? Like That came out wrong, Matt. Okay, not major. Major for in-game item skins. Okay, that's better. So like the fact that we don't have that, like I love the fact that they put Empire banners of the players in Verdansk. Love that, right? But we need more.
Yeah.
I don't think that what we have now is sustainable. Enough from their side. There's just a lot that can be done that should be done, right? Like from the beginning of this thing, the thing that made me most passionate about the franchise spot was the fact that we were all going to be doing a shared revenue, and that we were going to involve the fans in having a hand in making this thing successful by way of crowdfunding through skins, by way of events, in-game events. You know what I'm saying? Like we learned so much from Fortnite that we haven't been able to apply it into this thing. And I don't think that the Fortnite developers are more talented than our developers, but I do think that there's somebody out there that's really, really good at a storyline that has been able to be, to build that universe that they built with Fortnite. And yeah, sure, it lends itself to be more like that because they're dealing in fantasy more than they're dealing in reality, like we with Advanced Warfare and World War II shit that we do. But Call of Duty has its own sort of universe that they've been created. So
there's so much they could do. Realistically, there's like so many different things that they could do to push viewership and a lot of different things. And I think that it's not new technology at the end of the day. So I think that 100% a lot of these things need to change going forward. Like it's not going to work if we keep doing this.
I don't have a creator code, nor do I don't play enough to deserve one, but I do deserve to be on the fucking mailing list so I can get my collectibles up. The fact that you guys are sending collectibles to, no offense, right, to people who have 50,000 subs on YouTube, and you're not sending me shit that I've been here since Call of Duty 2 and I've done a lot for the scene, like it's offensive, and I'm mad, goddammit, I'm mad. Where I was going with that is like player signatures, for example, right? Like I think that the economics for players and giving them an ability to make more money, like that's better. The signature stuff, like I didn't want my dudes to do it because they weren't going to get a piece of that. And I'm like, I'd rather not go down this route again like we did in Advanced Warfare, where I had to fight my ass off to get something back for my logo to be in Call of Duty. So yeah, we got 19, I think a total 19 white exoskeletons just for the team, and that was cool. But at the same time, I'm like, it's time to share a little bit more into this thing, right? Like we're putting in millions, tens of millions of dollars into this thing, and we're still struggling for certain things. And look, I'm not going to put COVID or the fact that we're playing online. I even get mad when Seth and every fucking pro player talks about online this and all like that. Like, shut the fuck up. You could have had a year where there was no fucking Call of Duty, which means that there was going to be no fucking salary for you. The only thing that we could have done is play online. Shut up. We're playing online. That's it. Like, you think everybody wants to do this shit? No. Yeah. But the fact that you complain about online shit, like that's annoying to me, because what's the other alternative? You know what I'm saying? The bubble. We talked about a bubble. Seth wasn't about the bubble, right? Like we had people that weren't about. I wasn't about the bubble. I like to travel with the team. I'm not gonna leave my family for months. This is the best thing that we could have done. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that there needs to be more opportunity. The creator code, man, that pays nothing. You know what I mean? From what I understand, it pays it is peanuts in comparison to what Fortnite creator codes are doing. You know what I'm saying? Let's learn a little bit. I was talking to Swag in last week's podcast about how we were in such a good position where we had Nick Merckx and we had like all of these major fucking influencers playing our game, and we're allowing anti-cheat to kick them out of our scene. Like, we've worked so goddamn hard these fucking last decade to get to where we're at today, and then we finally get the eyeballs that we deserve. Well, I say deserve, obviously, biasly, but we finally get these people, and we're not helping keep them. We're just gonna say fuck it, man. Like, they leave. How do you think Fortnite feels, man? That they lost Tim the Tatman, that they lost Ninja to fucking Final Fantasy, like, because of whatever fucking shit they were doing. Let's learn from their mistakes and keep these people here, man.
You need to try and retain. You need to try and retain them over the time. Like, we've seen examples of games that have came and gone, and you need to just learn from other people's mistakes as well. You know?
And look, I know that the Activision and Call of Duty machine is so big that maybe they can take the freedoms to not necessarily do what they don't want to do, but it's detrimental to the scene. It is. And I've been here since Call of Duty 2. I know. I've seen it all. I've seen it from the beginning where it was no support. I've seen it where only once every 3 years we had support from Vonderhaar and Treyarch. And then after that, like, you know, people sort of started getting wise to it. But like, man, and the worst thing about all of this is that the developers catch most of the flack.
Yeah.
Where they're here to create a piece of artwork, and then the people upstairs are the ones that make the decisions on how it's monetized, how it's cross-pollinated between casual players and competitive players. But if we weren't ready to start that cross-pollination, if we weren't ready to start elevating the teams and making competitive Call of Duty a bigger part of the Call of Duty universe, then we shouldn't have done this fucking franchise thing. You know what I mean? And that's what's annoying to me. Like, even like, and again, given a break because of COVID, given a break because of what we've endured, given a break because of how good the league back office is. You know what I'm saying? Johanna, Brandon Snow, all of the people that work behind the scenes. Like, given all that a break, like, I think that the man upstairs needs to step up. You know what I'm saying?
No doubts.
I think Bobby Kotick needs to stand up. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And look, again, and I always do this as a disclaimer, the universe that he operates in, being a public company as big as it is, having 1 million employees, like, obviously I have the faintest idea of what it takes to run that company, right? But I do think that a little bit more care should be, you know, put towards competitive Call of Duty.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, we're the guys that are here every single day pushing on social media and everything. And although it's like the competitive scene is always renowned as, you know, it's only a smaller part, at the end of the day, like, a lot of these competitive players are the main guys that are pushing the game to a public to a public face.
And also, obviously, the Warzone creators, right? Like, I can go on for days. Let's reel it back in, because I think I went a little bit of a rant there, started getting hot a little bit. We just got off Major 5 weekend. There was no trophy. Like, what the fuck was that about, right? Secondly, fans are back. That was cool. Obviously, we had a bunch of restrictions that we couldn't go out in the crowd, even though I saw a couple of players out there signing autographs, which is cool. Like, I get it. But, you know, we have very strict protocols for a fucking reason. If we go out if we go out now or this past weekend and we're back with the players and somebody in the crowd has COVID and it passes and now we have COVID, now we're fucked for champs.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So we took the approach that we were not going to take any risk whatsoever. You know, I waved and I made sure that I was, like, always on the edge. But, you know, as soon as the game was over, like, we booked it, man. You know, like, I was home. I hadn't seen my, you know, I had to go back home. And for the most part, like, I think that until there's a firm grasp on what this fucking thing is, because even after a year of going through COVID, 2 years going through COVID, like, you know, LA just did another mass mandate, right? Like, and as you guys are watching, this is like Champs Week. By now, we either know that there are going to be fans or we know that there might not be fans, and both of those are very, very big possibilities. All right, so one of the most historic moments happened. Unfortunately, it happened to your team. Tell me about that, man. It had to have been heartbreaking. I felt so bad for the boys.
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly such a strange, surreal feeling. I don't really feel like it's truly hit me yet, to be honest, because I feel like I've took other losses worse in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It was a weird experience considering how the first 4 maps went. It was, like, very convincing in our favour.
I mean, the first one was a fucking beating.
Yeah, exactly. And then going into, like, the next maps, you know, the way we do things, I don't really like to change up the way I win or loss. I don't really like to change up my demeanor too much when I go on stage, just to keep it calm for the guys, you know. And after every map, it was just kind of like, in my mind anyway, I thought that we were going to close out eventually, you know. But it was just the same sort of advice in between every map for me and the team. And I think at the end of the day, Minnesota came out, played really well. I think it got to points in the game where we kind of should have closed out. I think garrison control was probably the main one for us. Minnesota have been like a really, really strong S&D team throughout this stage, and although we have two, it's we didn't really have much time to prepare. We had 4 S&Ds in the final, where, you know, mostly you're going into a series where you're able to really prepare for those 2 S&Ds that you're playing. So it's a bit more difficult when you're coming straight off playing you guys into a grand final where you've got 4 S&Ds, so we weren't able to do the same level of preparation, of course. So I think that played a part. But apart from that, at the end of the day, we should have got one more map and closed it out. And I think that we had opportunities, specifically the garrison control. But at the end of the day, we've been a part of COD history. We're in the bad part of it. But this is like what I said to my team: like, we can't sit here now at this point and like be like, oh my goodness, we've just choked like the biggest final ever, because we have a major event in 2 weeks. We've got champs, you know,
gotta
so
refocus.
We've got to refocus and get ready for that, because we know at the end of the day we could have won that, and it's the same for champs. We got to try and win champs. So honestly, I'm so proud of the guys, how they've handled it so far. Like the last couple of days since the loss, they've been very positive, and honestly that was a surprise to me, because I thought they would just be losing their heads. But honestly, I'm looking forward to champs at this point now after the event.
Yeah, that's good. Mental fortitude above anything else is good. I tweeted out a picture of what I saw when I got home, because I packed all my shit from over there and then drove 45 minutes home. And as soon as I walked through the door, Jude's like, "Who won?" And then I'm like, "I don't know." So I opened my phone and I saw the graphic where you guys were. You know, I knew that you guys beat the shit out of them on the first one. We were watching in our room at the players' room, and we're like, "What the fuck is going on?" So 2 things on that. One is the format. Whatever, but after that I'm like, I didn't watch, and then I logged on to, or I opened my Twitter app, and I'm like, if this fucking happens, this is gonna be the greatest and as soon as I read that, I fucking open it and I see that you guys or that they had caught up to you guys and they were going into the round into the S&D round. Immediately I'm like, I know exactly what's gonna happen, right? I know exactly. Rocker is gonna go up 5-4 or 5-3 or 5-1, and then you guys are gonna make the so although they made the comeback to the map 9, you got and it took the lead early on in S&D. I thought that you guys were gonna do a reverse sweep on that one, and that was gonna be like that would have been like the super cherry on top. But aside from that aside, I think that it was like one of the most exciting, most beautiful Call of Duty games ever, and I wish that I would have seen like the whole thing. But I usually don't watch other teams to begin with. The same reason that I don't watch the fucking the Utah Jazz play basketball, or the same reason that I don't watch the Milwaukee Bucks, who just won, play. They're not my teams. I'll watch the Bulls. I'll watch the Bears. I'll watch the White Sox. Maybe.
It's same for me as well. I'm a big football fan, soccer. And my Scottish team that I support, that's the only football I watch. Realistically, it's the same for me. But it was such a weird experience too, going back to that. I think that when I was up 4-0, I looked at my phone when I was in the toilet, and people were DMing me saying, "Congrats, dude." Yeah. I had like 20 DMs saying congrats already. My fiance, who at home seen we were up 4-0, and then an hour and like right after this game said, "Are you out celebrating right now?" And I was like, "No, we lost."
Oh no.
Yeah, because she was working. Yeah. She seen we were up 4-0, went to work, and then she got on her break at her work and messaged me saying, "Are you out celebrating?" And I was like, "Nope, we lost 5 maps straight."
Oh my god.
So yeah, I had a bunch of people that DM me saying congrats, and right after the match, a bunch of the same people were responding to me like, "I'm so sorry, dude. I jinxed it."
You jinxed it.
Yeah, because everyone was like, "Oh, it's over." You know what I mean? That obviously, that's the way everyone thought. You know, so.
But what do you think? What do you think of the format? Obviously, like, there's no advantage of coming from winners, right? Like, they think about this, right? Like, they had to warm up for 4 maps for them to be warmed up enough to do that, and by that time, you guys are all fucking exhausted. Yeah, right. You've given it your all the whole fucking weekend. Here you are in the most pressure, and then you have like this sigh of relief where you're just like, this is a done fucking deal. Yeah, and obviously that happens. What do you think about that?
The format on either end kind of is a weird one, because like, especially the way the vetoes worked in our series, we literally played a checkmate hardpoint against you guys, and then we start like 20 minutes later we're playing the same map again, so it's like perfect preparation. We've just won that map like convincingly, and then we're going in to play it again straight away. So I think for us the format definitely helped the first part of the series, and then it kind of tailed off towards the end. Like I said, the S&D preparation, and we had played for a long period of time. Like, we came in early that day to warm your team up before you guys played Dallas, and then you guys won, and then we played against you guys. So like, we were there for quite a long time. I think we were there for 10 hours already at that point by the time it got to map 9. So I definitely think that played a part as well, like the kind of energy levels. And we've been in that situation twice this season where we've had sort of came through the losers finals and got to the final. The first one was Major 2. We obviously beat FaZe in the final in that one, but again, that was a little different because we had sort of been able to prepare for a lot of their S&Ds beforehand because we'd played them the match before. So I think that, and we knew that, so I think it was a little different for us at that point. But like I said, the format benefits either or. I think that, of course, looking into it, like, we started off very strong, so it looked to benefit us at the very start of the series, and then, to be honest, I felt like towards the end it was sort of a disadvantage. But at the end of the day,
what part?
Just like I said, the way we sort of prepare for S&D is it's very key to our success. I think. So I think that we weren't able to do that. So
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. One of the most memorable, probably the most, but the best. Unfortunately for you guys, you were on the wrong side of that storyline. But Rocker had a really good Cinderella story going for them. You know what I'm saying? You guys have been hot, period, for the last for all of that stage. This stage, obviously, you guys were a team to beat, and Rocker sort of came out of nowhere, caught fire, and now obviously they became champions of Major 5. I don't know the trophy stuff. Like I don't know what the fuck is up with that. And I don't. I kind of don't want to blame anyone. I think it's just one of those things where everyone's just like doing the best they can, and it's just one of those things that slip through. I'm sure that they'll make it up. I hope they make it up. But I think like Activision's always been that way, and I don't know if it's a cost saving thing or not. But like my championship ring, like I had to get that made. I had to get a replica. I took Seth's because only they got them. The org didn't get shit, right? And I'm like, we usually get trophies. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we get. The org gets the trophy. The players get the prize pool. But I grabbed Seth's ring and I took it to my jeweler, and I'm like, replicate this, add diamonds to it, and that's going to be the org's championship ring. But I ended up paying for that, and like I don't know what the best approach or best format is. Maybe like you have the org needs to get something. You know what I'm saying? Like we're paying a fucking shit ton of cash to get the fuck in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're supporting players. We're doing a lot. We should have something.
It's important. It's massively important. Like, and I don't think the cost should really be a factor really in that, because I don't imagine, like, even if it wasn't, the Champs Trophy is like obviously a very large trophy, but for these majors you should at least get like a smaller size trophy that you can add to your trophy cabinet over there.
Yeah. It's thirsty, man. I need some watering over there. I do like the Verdansk inclusion, right?
Yeah.
The players being up there, the banners of the players being up there. Like that to me is like the coolest thing that's ever happened in Call of Duty ever. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been trying to get my graffiti in Call of Duty for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And it's never happened. But to have the players up there like for a whole year, that's fucking phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Like that is fucking super, super ill. And I hope that they continue with that tradition. Like whether or not we're going to hear about what's happening to Warzone or Battle Royale next year, we don't know. Whether it's the same or they're changing the map a little bit or what, a change, something needs to happen, right? And I guess we'll see. But we'll see. We're building the plane as we're flying it, as they say.
Exactly.
So,
I would love to see some hex graffiti in like an alleyway in Verdansk, or like on a train in Verdansk or something.
Dude, I
That'd be pretty cool.
I don't even want to put my name. I would love to put my name out there, right? But I'll just do a Call of Duty tag or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be cool.
Yeah, I just want to be a part of something that I've been a part of for like over a decade. Marky B, I appreciate you coming by, man. Thank you so much. When you head back to Toronto?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. Nice little
the
flight.
flight's not going to be canceled or anything?
Hopefully not. I'm hoping no problems.
It'll clear up. The weather's all good now, but the amount of people that fucking got stuck here is crazy. Anyway, brother, thank you so much for tuning in or stopping by. It won't be the last time. I'm sure I'll call you up on you soon enough. Congratulations to your team. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job. Your org's obviously doing a phenomenal job. So all his information is going to be listed in the description down below. Be sure to follow him on Twitter and all those social media platforms that he uses. And we'll see you guys next time. Maddie, shout out to Upstart and Liquid for sponsoring the podcast. And Maddie, we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.